Have you ever felt emotionally exhausted, not because of your personal problems, but because of everything happening around the world? The constant news, the conflicts, the crises, the opinions on social media? It can feel like noise that never stops. Even when you are sitting quietly in your room, your mind may feel tense, restless, and overloaded. You try to stay informed, you try to care, you try to be responsible. But instead of feeling empowered, you feel drained. Let me ask you something. What if the real problem is not the world itself, but how much of it you are allowing into your mental space every single day? In this episode, you will learn how to protect your mental energy, build emotional resilience, and create inner stability. You will practice English, yes, but you will also learn how to stay strong, balanced, and hopeful in a chaotic world. And if this lesson gave you something useful, I'd love it if you tapped like and subscribe to the channel. It helps you stay connected, and it also helps this little learning community grow. Every click really does make a difference. With love, let's dive in. Why does constant exposure to global news affect your mental health? Constant exposure to global news affects your mental health because your brain is not designed to process endless streams of alarming information. When you scroll through dramatic headlines or watch disturbing videos, your body reacts as if you are personally in danger. Your heart rate may increase, your muscles may tighten, and stress hormones begin to rise. Even if the event is happening far away, your nervous system does not fully understand that you are safe. Over time, this repeated stress response can lead to anxiety, emotional fatigue, and even helplessness. You may start feeling overwhelmed without knowing exactly why. Staying informed is important, but there is a difference between awareness and overconsumption. When information becomes excessive, it stops being helpful and starts becoming harmful. Learning to manage how and when you consume news is not ignorance. It is self-protection. It is a conscious decision to guard your emotional stability. How can setting boundaries with news consumption protect your energy? Setting boundaries with news consumption protects your energy because it creates a clear limit between information and emotional overload. Instead of checking updates every hour, you can decide on specific times during the day to stay informed. For example, you might choose to read the news once in the morning and once in the evening, and avoid it before bed. This simple structure gives your brain time to rest. It also prevents constant interruption of your focus. Boundaries are not about pretending problems do not exist. They are about recognizing that you cannot solve everything at once. When you reduce unnecessary exposure, you give yourself space to think clearly. You may notice that your mood becomes more stable, your concentration improves, and your sleep feels deeper. Protecting your mental energy is similar to protecting your physical energy. If you use it all at once, you feel drained. If you manage it wisely, you feel stronger and more balanced. What role do daily routines play in emotional stability? Daily routines play a powerful role in emotional stability because they give your mind something predictable in an unpredictable world. When the global situation feels chaotic, your personal structure becomes even more important. Simple actions like waking up at the same time, preparing a healthy meal, or organizing your workspace may seem small, but they create a sense of control. And control reduces anxiety. When you focus on what you can manage today, instead of worrying about everything you cannot change, your stress level naturally decreases. Routines act like anchors. They keep you steady when emotional waves try to pull you away. Even 5 minutes of quiet breathing, journaling, or planning your day can create mental clarity. You may not be able to change global events, but you can influence your habits. That sense of influence builds confidence, and confidence strengthens resilience. Can small daily actions really prevent emotional burnout? Yes, small daily actions can absolutely prevent emotional burnout because consistency is more powerful than intensity. Emotional burnout usually happens when stress continues without recovery. But recovery does not always require big vacations or dramatic life changes. It often begins with small, intentional choices. Practicing gratitude for a few minutes each day shifts your attention from what is wrong to what is still good. Moving your body, even with a short walk, releases tension and improves your mood. Speaking honestly with a trusted friend reminds you that you are not alone. These simple acts may seem ordinary, but they protect your emotional balance. When you repeat them regularly, they build strength from the inside. You begin to feel more grounded, less reactive, and more hopeful. Burnout grows in neglect. Resilience grows in daily care. And daily care starts with small, manageable steps. Why is gratitude so powerful during uncertain times? Gratitude is powerful during uncertain times because it gently redirects your attention. When the world feels unstable, your mind naturally searches for danger, problems, and negative possibilities. This is a survival instinct, but if it continues for too long, it creates emotional heaviness. Gratitude interrupts that pattern. It does not deny reality, and it does not ignore difficulties. Instead, it allows you to notice what is still steady, supportive, and meaningful in your life. When you pause and recognize simple things, like having a safe place to rest, food to eat, or someone who cares about you, your nervous system begins to relax. Gratitude creates emotional balance because it reminds you that not everything is falling apart. Over time, this practice strengthens optimism in a realistic way. You begin to see challenges more clearly, but without feeling defeated. Gratitude builds resilience quietly, one small moment of awareness at a time. How does moving your body support emotional resilience? Moving your body supports emotional resilience because emotions are not only mental experiences, they are physical reactions as well. When you feel stress, your muscles tighten and your breathing becomes shallow. If you sit still for long periods while feeling anxious, that tension stays inside your body. Physical movement releases it. You do not need intense exercise or complicated routines. A short walk outside, gentle stretching, or even slow, deep breathing can reset your nervous system. Movement increases blood flow and helps regulate stress hormones. As your body relaxes, your thoughts also become calmer and more organized. This connection between body and mind is powerful. When you take care of your physical state, you automatically influence your emotional state. Over time, regular movement builds strength, not only in your muscles but also in your mental endurance. It teaches you that you can shift your state instead of being controlled by it. Why are meaningful connections essential in a noisy world? Meaningful connections are essential in a noisy world because human beings are not designed to face stress alone. When you isolate yourself during difficult times, your thoughts may become louder and more negative. You may start believing that you are the only one struggling. However, when you share your feelings with someone you trust, the emotional weight becomes lighter. Real conversations, not just online comments or quick messages, create a sense of belonging and understanding. They remind you that others are also navigating uncertainty. Connection offers perspective. It helps you see problems from different angles and find solutions more calmly. Even listening to someone else's experience can strengthen your empathy and emotional intelligence. In a world filled with loud opinions and dramatic headlines, quiet, honest conversations create stability. They build emotional safety, and emotional safety is a foundation for resilience. When you feel supported, you naturally feel stronger. What does self-compassion really mean in stressful times? Self-compassion means treating yourself with the same understanding and patience that you would offer a close friend. During stressful times, many people become extremely critical of themselves. They feel guilty for being tired, for feeling overwhelmed, or for not doing enough. But constant self-criticism increases emotional pressure. Self-compassion does not mean avoiding responsibility. It means recognizing that you are human and that human beings have limits. When you notice stress rising, instead of saying, "I should be stronger," you might say, "It makes sense that I feel this way." That simple shift reduces inner conflict. It creates emotional space to recover. Self-compassion also encourages realistic expectations. You cannot solve every global issue, and you cannot be productive every second of the day. Allowing yourself rest and forgiveness builds long-term strength. When you stop fighting yourself, you save energy, and saved energy becomes resilience. How can intentional choices transform overwhelming stress? Intentional choices transform overwhelming stress because they shift you from reaction to direction. When everything feels urgent and chaotic, it is easy to move through your day automatically, reacting to notifications, headlines, and other people's demands. This constant reaction creates emotional instability. But when you pause and ask yourself, "What truly deserves my attention today?" you begin to regain control. Intentional living means choosing your priorities instead of letting circumstances decide for you. It may involve turning off unnecessary notifications, scheduling quiet time, or limiting conversations that drain your energy. These choices may appear small, but they create clarity. Clarity reduces confusion, and reduced confusion lowers stress. When your actions align with your values, you feel more grounded. Instead of being pulled in different directions, you move with purpose. Purpose strengthens your emotional core, and a strong emotional core allows you to remain steady, even in uncertain times. Why is hope a practical choice, not just a positive feeling? Hope is often misunderstood as simple optimism, but in reality, it is a practical mental decision. In difficult times, it may seem more realistic to expect negative outcomes. However, constantly expecting the worst weakens your motivation and reduces your ability to act. Hope does not ignore problems, and it does not pretend everything will be easy. Instead, it keeps your mind open to solutions. When you believe that improvement is possible, you are more likely to look for opportunities and take constructive steps. Hope influences behavior. It encourages problem-solving, creativity, and persistence. Without hope, even small challenges feel heavy and discouraging. With hope, you begin to see difficulties as temporary and manageable. Choosing hope is not about fantasy. It is about protecting your mental strength. It creates emotional stability because it reminds you that circumstances can change and that your actions still matter. How can you focus on what you control instead of what you cannot? Focusing on what you control begins with awareness. Many stressful thoughts come from situations that are completely outside your influence. Global politics, economic changes, or other people's opinions are often beyond your personal control. When you spend too much time thinking about these areas, you feel powerless. Powerlessness increases anxiety. Instead, you can gently redirect your attention to your daily choices. You can control your routine, your reactions, your words, and how you spend your time. This shift does not solve global problems, but it strengthens your inner stability. When you act within your circle of influence, you regain a sense of capability. You move from helplessness to responsibility. Responsibility builds confidence. Over time, this habit changes your emotional pattern. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by large, distant issues, you focus on meaningful, manageable actions. And those actions create a steady foundation for resilience. What happens when you reduce emotional noise in your life? When you reduce emotional noise, your thoughts become clearer and your reactions become calmer. Emotional noise includes constant notifications, dramatic conversations, unnecessary arguments, and even your own repeated negative thoughts. This noise keeps your nervous system alert and tense. It becomes difficult to think logically or make balanced decisions. When you intentionally limit this noise, you create mental space. In that space, you can reflect instead of react. You begin to notice your real priorities instead of being distracted by every new piece of information. Reducing noise may mean stepping away from social media for a while or choosing not to engage in exhausting debates. It may also mean practicing quiet moments during your day. Silence is not empty. Silence restores clarity, and clarity strengthens emotional control. When your mind feels less crowded, you feel more grounded and emotionally stable. How does emotional balance help you navigate uncertainty? Emotional balance helps you navigate uncertainty because it prevents extreme reactions. When you are emotionally balanced, you do not ignore problems, but you also do not exaggerate them. You are able to pause, evaluate the situation, and respond thoughtfully. This balanced response protects your energy. It keeps you from wasting mental strength on panic or anger. Emotional balance also improves your relationships. When you communicate calmly, others feel safer and more willing to cooperate. In uncertain times, stability becomes valuable not only for you, but also for the people around you. Balanced emotions create clear thinking. Clear thinking supports better decisions. Better decisions lead to more predictable outcomes. Over time, this pattern builds trust in yourself. You begin to believe that no matter what happens externally, you can handle it internally. That belief is a powerful source of resilience and confidence. Can inner peace exist in a chaotic world? Inner peace can absolutely exist in a chaotic world, but it requires intention. Peace is not the absence of problems. It is the presence of stability within you. When you protect your mental energy, set boundaries with information, practice gratitude, move your body, connect with others, and treat yourself with compassion, you build that stability step by step. The world may remain noisy and unpredictable, but your inner foundation becomes stronger. You learn to respond instead of react. You choose hope instead of despair. You focus on what you can influence instead of what you cannot. This mindset does not make you careless. It makes you resilient, and resilience allows you to live with strength and clarity. As you continue practicing these strategies, you will notice something powerful. The chaos around you may not disappear, but your sense of balance will grow. And that balance becomes your quiet, lasting peace. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss the next lesson. Your support means so much. It keeps this space alive and growing. With love. Thank you for being here, and I can't wait to continue this journey with you.